I'm about to stream. Hi, everyone. Hello. How are we this evening? It is Sunday, and we are about to get into the start of our week. I hope everyone is having a great Sunday. Hold on one second. One second. Okay, I hope everyone's having a great Sunday. We are exactly, I want to say, a week and a half before Christmas. Yeah, a whole week. And then next week, the week after that is Christmas. And so I need you guys' help because I have to figure out what I'm going to make for Christmas dinner. I thought I wanted a really traditional Christmas dinner where we would make um like prime rib, shrimp scampi, uh, cornbread casserole, or I like to call it corn betty, but it's cornbread casserole, um, mac and cheese, collards, all of that. And then I was like, you know what? I have been having untraditional Christmases for the past 4 or 5 years. What if we just made a bunch of Chinese food, or I made a bunch of Chinese food? So now I'm like, what if I made orange chicken? Not really Chinese food, but like Asian type of food. So like orange chicken, um, walnut shrimp or bang bang shrimp, Chinese fried chicken, Korean food, beef bulgogi. I really like cheese corn, so maybe make some cheese corn too, some lumpia. I really like making Asian food, so I was thinking about that. Like maybe I could just make that instead. Though I do know with one, I'm making significantly less meat than the other, but the other, there's more options to pick from, and I think prep could be a lot easier. It's just I'm going to be in front of the fryer all day, and I don't like frying food all day. So that's my one concern, and I got to be very careful about portion sizes because it's just me and my partner. So we're not really gonna, like, I'm not trying to have a lot of leftovers, I guess is the way to put it. So yeah, I'm just trying to decide what to make for a Christmas dinner. But Christmas is on the way and it is coming very, very fast. It seems like the remainder of this year, it seems like this year went by really, like, really, really rapid. Like, I don't know. Just last year, I was building my PC. I had a full time job and I was just working and trying to make things, move and shake. And now this year, like I'm at the same spot that I am in this year, where I was still trying to get things to move and shake. I don't have a job anymore, but I'm a lot more relaxed now. Like, I feel like that job, my last job was very stressful. And I've been listening to videos from other creators say how their jobs are also as stressful. If it's not stressful finding a job, it's very stressful getting like working a job because of just how much people have shrunk things down, outsourced other jobs, or how I guess we're preparing for this AI renaissance to take off, though I don't know if it's going to take off in the way that people want it to. I feel like it's going to be similar to the dot-com boom, where everyone will always has a website, and if you want to learn more about a business, you need to go to their website, right? But all the other little things from the dot-com boom kind of like fell apart when the internet was like really big. I think the same thing's going to happen for AI. I read the other day that Trump signed an executive order to make sure that AI wasn't regulated in states. So like states couldn't have AI regulations around it. And I guess it has to go to the Supreme Court. But my first thought was for me to to think about, like, okay, so if there's going to be an executive order signed to not put parameters on artificial intelligence, how far will people go and these companies go into letting AI slop run amok? I know this kind of just sounds dark and we're like super early on in the stream, but the first thing I started thinking about was like the amount of crude, not safe for work, and lewd AI content that has came out, and the ability for people to swap faces of, say, like their favorite celebrity or someone that they have a crush on onto like AI generated corn videos and just like post it, and then even like darker, unfortunately, so trigger warning, but like kids too, like if the executive order goes through, I hear that it has to go through the Supreme Court, so I don't know if it's completely like greenlit, but if this executive order is signed where Trump demands that the states can't, at least at a state level, there isn't any regulation on AI, and that on a national level it needs to be regulated. And we see a lot of these like tech companies not trying to regulate. They don't. A lot of tech companies and tech CEOs don't really regulate technology in the way that they should. Hence the reason why there's a lot of slop and bots and dead internet theory going around. But it just made me worry, like, how many people's like privacy is going to be digitally violated because somebody just wants to make crude pictures of them. Like, that's my first thought. Shout out to the states who are trying to put a cap on AI and what it can and can't do, because at the very least they are censoring AI in a way where legitimate people are getting protected. Now we're at a point in life where, and in the government, where they don't want to protect regular people from, being violated in that way. And that's just very unfortunate. So I don't know. I just think about that a lot. And I think about how artificial intelligence just isn't, like, a lot of these companies aren't trying to regulate it. I also think about how people are so trusting of AI. The only time I really use AI now is if I'm trying to optimize my resume for the job search, or if I need it to count my macros for my meal plans. That's the only time I need AI, because I used to like pay people to create meal plans for me that were awful, that did not give me the nutrients that I needed. Now I just type it in ChatGPT and it gives me all the things that I need. But And I could also see AI being helpful. Hey, my sweet friend, I'm always on board for your stream. Thank you. Thanks, James. I appreciate it. I also think that AI is useful. It could be a useful study tool if you're having trouble digesting information and you like copy and paste the text that you're reading and ask ChatGPT to summarize it and then do like a one-to-one comparison of what you're reading. I think it could be helpful in that way. But as far as people using it as a therapist, as a relationship partner, as an advice consultant, as like, I don't know, a tool, like some master oracle tool that can give them the secrets to life and make someone a genius, as some people would assume. I don't like that. I don't like that about AI. And I feel like that is very much so on a lot of these companies not wanting to regulate it, not wanting to regulate artificial intelligence and just letting it run amok because, you know, they want more people to spend money on it. Unfortunately, we know that AI has affected the significantly it affected the art industry and probably looks like it's going to continue to affect the art industry. But I think people are going to get smarter when it comes to like drawing, art, animation, even like music, where they'll be able to pick out, okay, so that's artificial intelligence. I'm actually going to support a real person, or I'm actually going to support a show made with actual people, because I think there's just some things that humans do and the way humans think that I don't think a robot can duplicate. And I don't think you really want a robot or technology to duplicate, in all honesty. So yeah, I that always concerns me. So outside of that, I feel like not being regulated is very concerning. One second, guys. Okay. So outside of that, I feel like I don't know. I'm just worried about artificial intelligence as a as a technology, as a construct, as a tool, and how trusting people are of it. And I don't know. I feel like for where people want it to be super useful, which is running things on an enterprise level in hopes to displace jobs, in hopes to replace jobs that humans can do. I don't know if it's ready to do that just yet. I don't know. In my humblest opinion, I feel like we're biting off way more than we can chew, but also there is a push to have us, you know, keep using AI and to keep putting all of our trust into AI and ChatGPT. I don't trust people who lean on ChatGPT too heavily to look up knowledge, to look up information without like doing solid research on their own, in my humblest opinion. I don't trust the AI overview on Google either. And I don't know, I also just wish that technology would be like an addition to human life instead of like a replacement for human life and interactions. Like I look at Apple, the company Apple, and all of their products are used to enhance the human life experience. So you think of like the iPhone, like, yeah, social media is a problem, but now you have like a cool stylish way of texting people, interacting with people, and FaceTiming came from the iPhone, right? And it's just a better way for people to interact with each other. And it's useful, it's helpful. There's a GPS on here. You can listen to music on here. You can do all types of things on here. You can learn all different types of shit on your phone. You can do so much on your phone. Nowadays, it feels like there's a push to just have technology replace people, replace human interaction, not make it better. In the name of efficiency, everything's efficient now. So, yeah. Another thing I want to talk about for some fleeting topics before I do my Reddit Story Sundays, the Stream Awards. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really into the stream scene, really. Like, I stream full time, but I don't know a lot about streaming drama, with the exception of like DDG, unfortunately, but also Kai Cenat, who's pretty, like, he's entertaining, he doesn't really do anything too problematic that I know of. He's made comments before that people don't agree with, but like, I don't really see him as that problematic in the long run. Or IShowSpeed, I know him too. And then Drewski isn't a streamer, he's a content creator, but I see him around streamers sometimes, so that's cool. But my I also know about QT Cinderella too. Unfortunately, I don't think I should know about QT Cinderella, but I know about her. And I don't know about her in like a good way. I know that she said some questionable things to Vanilla Mace. About excusing her racist family. I don't know. But the Stream Awards happened, I guess, this past week. And I saw clips of it. I saw QT Cinderella try to make jokes towards Rakai and I guess the whole group of black streamers. I saw Fan try to make jokes and throw shade to everybody at the Stream Awards too. And I don't know. Call me like an old, like, millennial. I don't care. It just gave very, like, from the scenes I saw, it gave super, super cringe to me. Like, just really cringe, just very awkward, just like, the jokes were not funny. I did not appreciate the jokes that Fan made towards Kai Cenat about like him looking like Diddy. I did not appreciate the jokes that QT Cinderella made towards Rakai about him stealing something. It's just like not funny, and I don't know, it gave like microaggressive energy to me. Like it just I didn't find it funny at all. Whether you like those creators or not, whether you approve of those creators or not, I do think it is prolific that people of color are able to take up the streaming space in the way that they do. Do I think it's just like a phase a little bit? Probably. Like, I've yet to see like a black Logan Paul. Does that make sense? Where like we all knew Logan Paul from Vine. Then he became a YouTuber and got really big off of making awful diss tracks. Then he became problematic and showed video clips of an suicide forest in Japan. And now he's grown up and he has a podcast and he wrestles and he has a kid. And I guess he has a documentary on HBO Max. And, like, he's been able to evolve. Really, he hasn't. And evolve is questionable, right? Because I wouldn't say that he's evolved as much as he's been able to reinvent himself a lot and people still fall in love with him. I don't know, dude. I've yet to see that within black spaces. And so I don't know, maybe Kai Cenat might be that type of creator where he gets his start on streaming and then he evolves into, like, I don't know, YouTube, and then he evolves into having like a podcast. Like he'll just grow with his audience in a way, I guess. But I just don't like, I just didn't like how the Stream Awards went as far as hosting was handled. I didn't like how rude Fan Fan and QT Cinderella were. I just didn't. I thought they were very unfunny. And it also got me to thinking, because while social media is incredibly popular, I noticed that there is a difference between, like, when it comes to like award shows and what people are celebrated, right, and celebrated for, and like traditional celebrity like culture versus like streamer and influencer culture. Something I noticed is that all the award shows that are in like mainstream media, so well, content creation is mainstream media, so like traditional mainstream media, so like the Oscars, the Tonys, the Emmys, the Grammys, right? There's like a certain level of showmanship. Even the VMA awards, there's a certain level of showmanship that a lot of the hosts, a lot of the celebrities, maybe you could call it media training, that a lot of them have, that there's just some things that, like, I don't know, influencer culture and content creation culture is just not able to do sometimes. And it really showed through during the Stream Awards, and just seeing the interactions, to India Love Westbrook, like, effing up her Kanye West moment where she tried to say that Rakai should have won Streamer of the Year, to the Cutie Cinderella and Fan Fan trying to do a roast, I guess, of the streamers and not landing it whatsoever. Like, the jokes weren't funny. And I don't know the guy's name, but the dude in the pink jacket, when he was like, y'all jokes aren't funny, shut up. I felt that. I was like, why do you think this is hilarious? Like, you're making stealing jokes to a 16-year-old black kid. What is funny about that? You're calling Kai Cenat, who unfortunately cut his dreads. I wish he didn't cut his dreads, but that's his decision. He cut his dreads, and then immediately, when the wounds are still fresh, this new Diddy documentary comes out, and you're comparing him to Diddy? Like, that's not funny. That's not funny. Like, who greenlit that? It almost makes me think that the creators of color who get successful in those spaces, it's like they have to feed into stereotypes in a way. Stereotypes digestible for people to enjoy. Like, IShowSpeed is over here, like, doing, like, digital blackface, you know, in a way, maybe. And then going to other countries and, like, playing on the stereotypes of being a Black American. And now, you know, people from other countries, like, more or less make fun of him for it. I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's cool. And like I said, maybe this will just be a moment in time, and then people will grow up out of that, and we'll have like a different era of like content creators that come out. I don't know. Maybe they'll show more love to Black women streamers. I'm not sure. That would be pretty dope. But when it all boils down to is that I think it would have served them better if they had like someone who was really media trained in like knowing how to work a crowd. Like, I don't know, like a Kevin Hart, because like Kevin Hart is a comedian, so he knows how to make funny jokes, and he knows how not to go there. I even think of the time when Chris Rock made that joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, and then Will Smith like smacked the piss out of him, right? And I remember that moment and how theatric that was. Whether you agreed with what Will Smith did or not, like, that was a moment, you know? And it was, like, well done. Well, no, excuse me. Like, violence towards anybody is not well done. Excuse me. But it was just, like, it was a viral moment. Like, it got people talking. It made the Oscars, you know, worth, like, watching for a minute, right? And when it was all said and done, like, I don't know. I just boiled it down to them both being actors, them both being in the entertainment industry, probably them having some sort of like media training, so that moments like that, you know, you don't really trip those up, I guess. Again, I'm not condoning like violence against anybody. I'm on the side of Will Smith shouldn't have smacked the piss out of Chris Rock. Like, I just don't agree with that. That's very unprofessional. You know what I mean? He could have handled it behind the scenes, but there was like a lot of like drama and lore behind what was going on between all three of them, Jada, Chris, and Will. And I feel like it got people talking, and people were invested. So whereas or even like the Kanye West moment where he's like, I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had the best album of all time, you know what I mean? And like that, like the way that like slid out of his mouth and he stood on business and said that shit with his chest, whereas India Love Westbrook's over here like Rakai and DDG should have won Screamer of the Year, and it's like she's stuttering and like tripping up on her words, and I'm just like, girl, why are you doing this? Like, you're 30. Not to sound ageist, but it's just weird. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I didn't really care for how, like, the clips I saw from the Streamer Awards. Vanilla Mace was there and she looked good, so that's cool. So there's that. Okay. Let's talk about some toy discourse, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I collect dolls. I collect Bratz dolls. The last Bratz doll I got was Hello Kitty Yasmin, but I heard that Hello Kitty Sasha was coming out because when Bratz did their Hello Kitty line, they did everyone but Sasha. And the internet freaked out. They were like, well, why aren't you putting Sasha in there? Do you think that, like, Sasha can't be cute? Like, girl, what is going on? And Bratz responded, like, girl, we're sorry. Like, it's nothing personal. Like, we'll put Sasha in it. Don't worry. And so they made a new design for Hello Kitty Sasha, and it was very pretty. But my favorite doll out of the Bratz doll series has always been Yasmin. So my partner got me Hello Kitty, Yasmin, and that's like the last doll I got. And sometimes I'll walk around and I'll see the toys in Walmart or Target, and I'll see them and I'll be like, oh, they're cute. They have that new high fashion line where they're all wearing the motorcycle jackets, and I think that looks cool. But the holiday dolls had dropped for Bratz. And let me just show y'all what it looks like. This doll looks phenomenal. This doll, absolutely stunning. First of all, box design on fleek. The actual doll looks amazing. Like, very high fashion, white on white on white. Okay. Like they said, white Christmas, hold my beer, I got you. White wig, white eyebrows, frosted lips, this Savonti ass looking handbag with matching dress. I want to see what the shoes look like. Oh, like, okay. Another good attention to detail is that Chloe's face is like iridescent to really encapsulate like the frostbitten look of like the white Christmas. Like, this is a very beautiful doll. This doll is gorgeous. That the white lace front is giving, okay, like, very stunning. Oh, I don't know what they're trying to do. Yeah, I don't like to take open my or break open my Bratz doll boxes. I don't like to do that. I just like to keep them in the box. But and then they also have like they also have these dolls, which kind of gives Mean Girls Christmas, like the Christmas moment in Mean Girls where they're jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Yeah, it's giving that. And you get one in Chloe and Sasha. I wish they had one of Yasmin, because Yasmin's my favorite. But these are perfect. These are perfect. Though they are so cute, though. These are so cute, right? Like, it really felt like Bratz was really trying to pay attention to detail for what type of dolls they wanted to promote for the holiday season. Now, let's take a look at what Barbie has done. Okay, let me find Barbie. All right, they even got a big reveal for it and everything. So here's what the doll looks like. Hopefully we can zoom in. So there's Holiday Ken. And I mean, Ken looks like he got too much filler. He looks like he got way too much filler. And And then here's one of the holiday Barbies, right? And so it's like they have the Barbies in all different shades and colors, but they all have the same dress, and then they all have the same hair, and they all have the same earrings, right? This looks awful. As a doll collector right now, in my like adulthood, who used to be an avid like Barbie Bratz girl as a kid, this looks awful. This is why Bratz always comes out on top, and this is why Monster High is probably Mattel's like one of Mattel's most ingenuous like doll lines to come out, because what the hell is this? As a girl who grew up in like the early 2000s playing with these dolls and remembering when Barbie was in her prime, when Barbie was actually serving Savant, especially during the holiday season, like the dolls looked expensive. They looked expensive. This looks cheap. And then ironically, this is like $50, which is the same price as Holiday Chloe, which is also $50. But like Holiday Chloe, the one I just showed you with like the frostbitten and the lace front and with the white hair and the all white Christmas everything, like she looks like a doll that should probably be worth $50. This looks like a doll that a 3-year-old should play with. That should be no more than $20. Like Barbie, what happened? What happened? Y'all had like this awesome movie that came out called Barbie, period. Y'all had this awesome AF movie that came out. Y'all were really capitalizing off of that. And like everyone thought, oh, okay, like the marketing was on point for that movie. Barbie merch was everywhere. I thought, okay, this is Barbie's come up. Like after this, Barbie's going to serve. Barbie has not served. When I saw them relaunch the Mycene dolls, which is one of my favorite doll lines like ever, they did not serve. They lost, like, literally all the Mycene dolls lost their savantiness. You know, to be, like, more age appropriate, I guess, because they're in high school. Like, I get it, but it's like, girl, release the original Mycene dolls. You don't have to, like, redo the designs. But these look terrible. Oh, they have Teresa Barbie. So before they called them all Barbie, it was Barbie, like Barbie blonde hair, blue eyes, then Teresa, that would be Teresa, and then Christy would be the black girl, and then sometimes you'd get Kiki, the Asian Barbie, but they all call them Barbie now, which I also thought was a little weird too, but okay. But these look cheap. Like the fabric looks cheap, the design looked cheap. Yeah, and Ash is like, they used to be better. Yes, they did used to be better, Ash. Absolutely. Like, girl, what the F happened? What happened? They like, let me show you what a 2005, because we're in 2025, 2005 holiday Barbie would look like. Y'all would lose your shit. Like those, if anything, those are the dolls that you would have to keep in the box because of just how pricey they are. And like, that's a $50 Barbie. You want to keep that shit in the box. Let me show you what a 2005 holiday Barbie doll looked like. Real quick, okay? By Bob Mackie. So they got like, I guess they got like cool designers to work with them, right? That's cool. But like, look, she got a beauty mark, bro. You know, I'm a sucker for beauty marks on dolls. I am a sucker for beauty marks on dolls. She got a beauty mark, face beat to the gods. This whole sash is giving high fashion, and then you have the motif of like the white fabric, kind of like snow, like ice princess. But then you have the pink, because like Barbie always gives like part of the Barbie color brand is pink, right? But this gives like holiday festive Barbie. Like, I could pay money for this Barbie. This was in 2005. That's a Barbie you don't want to take out of the box. These things, these are Barbies I could see my a 3-year-old playing with. My 3-year-old, like, little cousin playing with, or some type of nonsense like that. Like, you could definitely pull this out of the box and play with it. And, you know, and no shits given. These dolls, like, there used to be a certain, like, level of, decorum that Barbie used to have, where you would look at a certain doll, especially as a kid, you would look at a certain doll and be like, I can't take that out of the box. I have to leave that in the box. That's a collector's item. Like, I gotta leave that in the box because I could probably sell this in like 20 years. And like, for sure, like, I mean, oh my god, you can pay $39.99 for these Barbies. I might get this doll. She looks beautiful. I don't collect Barbies, I collect Bratz. But like, look, they got different colors. They got pink and they got green. Like, there, I don't know, there just used to be a level of like decorum that Barbie would have, and then you'd have like the 2003 holiday Barbie just to take it back a little bit. Like, look at this. Like, what happened? What happened? What's going on over there at Mattel? They eat very hard with their Monster High dolls, even with the redesign of the new generation of Monster High dolls. They eat very, very hard. But I don't know. It's just like Barbie always falls flat. Barbie really does sometimes give boring sorority girl. Bratz gives savanty, like, e-girl influencer. And I think the closest Barbie has gotten to like giving like high fashion, creative, interesting probably would be somewhere in between my Scene dolls and Monster High dolls. So yeah, that's just a disappointment because Barbie should, like, there is no way that Bratz is serving so hard in the way that they do, and then Barbie is just like this. Like, this should not be happening. Like, the dress doesn't even fit the doll properly. And the face molds look so like immature, in my opinion. Like, they're not trying to be creative with the face molds. I think it's because the dolls are now more geared towards a younger audience. Like 3 to 5 year olds. Like, I don't think there are kids between the ages of 8 and 13 like playing with the dolls anymore, so they're trying to pander to that audience. But at the very least, for the holiday Barbies, like, give the doll collectors something to work with. Shit, like. So yeah, Bratz always comes out on top for me. I've always been a Bratz girly first. My favorite doll lines have always been Bratz dolls and my Scene. By the time Monster High came out, and I feel like Monster High was a missed opportunity for me because I was in high school and I had a big insecurity about playing with my dolls, and I was like super insecure in high school. And I remember my childhood friend, she used to work at Justice, and she said something like, "Do you know what Monster High is?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." She's like, "Good, don't collect them. There's so many like teenagers and adults that come in and ask if we sell Monster High dolls. It feels like something you would collect. Don't collect them." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I won't." And I was like, like an impressionable teenager, very insecure. So I never really was into Monster High growing up. And then I would see Monster High a lot, like with the younger kids when I was moved to Georgia in college. And now, like, I hear that Monster High was the gateway into like alternative culture for a lot of people. I can see that, but I feel like if I had to collect a Monster High doll now, it would probably have to be like a popular movie franchise. Like, they created Monster High dolls for the movie Us by Jordan Peele. I've seen people, so my favorite horror movie right now is The Substance. So I've seen people do like doll redesigns for The Substance. And so they turn the dolls into Elizabeth Sparkle and Sue. So I think those are the type of dolls I would collect. I don't think I would collect like the actual like Claudine, Frankie Stein. I don't even know their names, sorry. But I don't know. I kind of missed the mark there. And also, like, unfortunately, I was super insecure when I was in high school. I'd already gotten bullied for playing with dolls when like, at the age I was supposed to play with dolls, right? Like 8, 9, 10. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to make dolls my personality. And then I got really obsessed with Sonic the Hedgehog and like the internet culture of that. And that's all she wrote. And oh my God, I just remember like wanting to keep that. Like my close friends knew that I was into Sonic, like my close like high school friends. And I would always draw my Sonic OCs a lot. But like, I don't know. I guess in a way, when I was in college, I got bullied for that as well. I got bullied for drawing Sonic OCs. What a fun time. Now I don't do it anymore. I don't do it because I really don't want to do it. But and then now Sonic's cool, and now like everyone's obsessed with Sonic and Sonic OCs, and yeah. Let this be a learning lesson, okay? Don't let people bully you out of the things that you are interested in. You will regret it in the future. Because yeah, I do have some like major regrets of just not being myself, not coming into myself and being who I was, being so scared, like so insecure about how I was perceived by people. And like everyone would say when I was a kid, like, oh, you shouldn't worry about what people think. Who cares what people think? Who cares? Until you're like bullied for it. Like, God, it's easier said than done, especially nowadays with the way how nefarious bullying is now, because it just doesn't stop at the school. People have we're not cavemen. We have technology. We're not just throwing hands anymore. We're throwing like hurling insults on the internet. People make whole ass Discord chats shitting on other folks. Like, holy cow. Ugh. Bullying's on like a whole new scale. Some people just don't understand. But yeah, be yourself. Be yourself so that when you get to your 30s, you don't have an existential crisis about your life and end up regret not being yourself or living in your truth. And so you want to get a bunch of tattoos and piercings. Okay. So, okay. Couple things I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about some movies and then we're going to move on to Reddit stories. Okay. So, I watched Midsummer again. This is the third time that I've watched the movie. Out of the set of Ari Aster movies that I've seen, I haven't seen Beau is Afraid yet because of reasons. We'll talk about them, right? I've seen Hereditary, which I'm not gonna lie, Hereditary is creepy, but not creepy in the way that Midsummer is for me. I think Midsummer is incredibly creepy for me. Some people will say, nah, Hereditary is Ari Aster's best work. I'd say no, I think it's Midsummer because it's still like very haunting and terrifying and unsettling. And a majority of it is during the daytime. And it's like Technicolor and like bright and beautiful. You know what I mean? And that in and of itself is like so creative. Like, how can you make something so horrific be so colorful? You know what I mean? And other people would say, oh, well, that movie isn't, anything new. We have The Wicker Man and all of that. Like, we have culturally movies like that before. But I'd say, I don't know, this like really hits home for me because of the message of Midsummer, being that Danny has been through this tragic event. The main character, Danny, Florence Pugh's character, has been through this tragic event of her sister unaliving herself and her parents, and then her being like immersed in this group from her boyfriend that does not like her, and then dealing with a boyfriend that like does not like her either, and then feeling like she is a burden on to her partner, her boyfriend, and the friend group for just existing, and then constantly trying to ice her out every chance they get when she's feeling completely isolated. And then at the very end of the movie, when most of the friends have like been axed off, she finally finds acceptance and community with this cult that embraces her for her and all of her issues and all of her pain and all of the things that she feels like she has to hide amongst Chris and his friends, her boyfriend and her friends. And I think that's very beautiful because culturally like themes aside, I think that's very beautiful, because how many times have we felt like we have to shrink ourselves, shrink our emotions, pull ourselves together to be around friend groups and be in relationships that would not accept otherwise. Like, how many of us do that? And to finally find community, albeit like this god awful community in this like cult, right? Who lets you feel, lets you grieve, lets you have these emotions, lets you, you know, be human in a way and resonate with your emotions and piggyback and express those same feelings with you. I don't know. That's just so beautiful to me. And so I got teary-eyed watching the end of Midsummer this time around. I don't know why. And the movie's very scary. Like, I remember when I first watched the movie, for me, it was very scary for me. I remember when I first watched the movie, God, I have a crazy story time of when I first watched the movie. I watched it with this person who was goth, and she looked amazing. That was a sign right there. Of what direction I was going to lean into. But like, she looked awesome. She was so beautiful. And I was like, damn, I want to be just like you when I grow up. But I watched it with her. I watched it in her house, and we like hung out. I felt very safe with her too, which is always really nice. And so we watched that movie, and then I watched Us with her too. That movie was really good. So we watched those two movies. But I remember watching it the first time, and I had to sleep with the light on because I was so uncomfortable. Like, I had to sleep with the light on. I don't think I went to bed that night, and then I slept during the daytime, and I was still uncomfortable. Then I watched it a second time with my partner, and he was like, I hate this movie. I don't like it. I'm like, I love it. I don't think he liked the fact that Chris got stuffed in a bear. But Chris wasn't a good person anyway, so he deserved to get shoved into a bear. And then this third time when I watched it by myself, just alone, where there's no one distracting me, where it's just me and this movie, and I have to fully immerse myself into the movie. I don't know. It just was very emotional for me. You could also talk about the themes of how each member that Danny's around, like Danny's boyfriend's friends, right? Like, each member that inevitably gets axed, right? How they interact with the Orga and with the Swedish culture, and how their unalivings like parallel that and mirror that. Like, for example, Josh, the black guy, he which I don't know, between Josh and Andy, they're like really, really cute to me. There's something about the shape of their head like that I'm attracted to. I know that's weird, but what are their names? I know one is like William Poulter. Let me look this up. William Jackson Harper and Will Poulter have very interesting like temple shapes to me. It's weird, but I don't know. I'm attracted to that for some reason. Okay. Anyway, moving on. But Josh, he's trying to use the Orga, or Josh and Christian are both trying to use the Orga for a thesis, and they don't really care so much about the culture or respecting the culture that they do, even like the weird crazy stuff they do where they're like, you know, unaliving old people and pushing them off cliffs. They just care about like consuming all the information they can and capitalizing off of it for an awesome graduate master thesis paper. And the way William Jackson Harper goes is the same act, like mallet that they used to kill the old people. They used to kill Josh, and he makes like these horrific groans when they hit his head and show all the pink meat in his head, right? But when he's in the temple, they stuff the pages in his mouth because they told him before, you know, he inevitably dies that, or gets unalived, is that he can't collect information or read pictures from the traditional Orga book, which is, I guess, is their Bible. And he does it anyway. He just does it anyway. He doesn't listen to them. He doesn't respect their culture, right? He just goes in and he like takes all the pictures he wants. Then like he meets like a naked guy with Mark. His name's Mark, with Mark's face on it. And he thinks it's Mark, but it isn't. They just peeled Mark's face and put it on him. And so they like take a mallet to his head and, you know, then they bury him alive. I guess they buried him, but I think they buried him alive, really. But when he's in the temple, they stuffed the pages that he wanted to consume so much into his mouth, I guess, as an indicator of like, you wanted to learn so much of this culture so badly. This is what we'll let you learn about this culture. But since this book was so important to you, let's show you what you really are in the afterlife by putting your corpse in this temple with the pages of the book in your mouth, since you're so obsessed with this book that we told you not to collect information from. Will Poulter's character, Mark, they put a gesture hat on his head because he made a mockery of the ancestral tree. He relieved himself on it. I don't know why he would do that shit. I don't know why he just wouldn't ask somebody, hey, can I go to the bathroom somewhere? I really got to take a piss. Like, just so disrespectful to the culture. So they disrespect him by putting the little jester hat on his face. I don't know what they did with the rest of his body, but they put the jester hat on his face and then they stuffed his body in the temple. And then Connie and Simon's character, they both are unalive too. In the deleted scenes, it's insinuated that they did like this traditional Orga ritual where they sunk her as a thank you to nature for providing them with water, and so she drowns. She's waterlogged, and then where's Simon's character? Okay, Simon's character, right? He gets flayed. And like this traditional like Norwegian Viking type of way of like torturing people. He gets flayed in the chicken coop because he also was crashing out when the Orga pushed the old people down the cliff, right? And so I don't know why Simon in particular gets flayed in that way. That did not make any sense to me, but it was very pretty to look at. And I'm not really big on body horror, but I thought like him having the flowers in his eyes and then his lungs just chilling there, being strung up in the air, and people making insinuations that he might still be alive or it might be a hallucination that Chris is going through. And then Christian inevitably getting stuffed in the bear because Christian sucks. It deserves to be stuffed in the bear because at that point, all he really cares about is collecting information from the Orga for his master's degree. He does not care about like the actual culture. Like all of their deaths is very poetic, right? And I don't know. I just, when they all pass away and when Danny's in her flower dress and she's crying because of all the emotions that she's gone through, maybe cathartic emotions of like, Jesus, man, like I'm over here going through all of this shit and you don't even care. Christian doesn't even care that my parents are unalived by my sister and you always see me as a burden. Well, I'll show you what a burden really is. I'll stuff you into a bear and you're gonna burn alive in the temple with all your other whack ass friends. I like that. It was just like such a cathartic release. I also think Florence Pugh did a really good job like channeling anxiety and expressing anxiety on screen. That was really good too. Also, even though I don't like Christian, one thing I don't like about the movie is that Christian was assaulted. He was raped. He was drugged and he was raped. I did not like that. And I feel like the movie presented it in a way where Christian was the bad guy, which technically is good. That's good artistry. Like going back to the Lolita argument I made a long time ago, is that just because you don't like how art makes you feel doesn't mean it's still not good art. That scene is good artistry. I'm not gonna lie, it's really good. And I feel like people still shitting on Christian because he is a bad guy, right? But not addressing the fact that when he was doing the do with Maja, I think is her name, it's because he was drugged. And, you know, I don't know, I didn't really like that part, but it was in an interesting way. I love how the movie made it so that we were still on the side of Danny, or we were supposed to be on the side of Danny, even though we know the Orga is like some crazy evil cult that's probably going to unalive her if she doesn't go along to get along, and killed all her friends, right? Even if her friends are bad people. I don't know. So yeah, Midsommar makes me emotional. That's a movie that I really like. I can't watch that movie over and over again because I don't know, it's just a lot of emotions that comes from that movie, and maybe it has to do with a lot of like my own mental health issues and how I feel like I'm a burden to some people and how I resonate in Danny in that way. But regardless, I love that movie and I'm glad I watched it again. I'm glad I watched it alone. And I don't know, it's Ari Aster makes some good movies. I have to watch Beau is Afraid, but like I said, I watched Hereditary, and that's another movie that made me very uncomfortable, but not in the way that Midsommar did. I don't know why, but like Hereditary, and maybe if I watch it again, it'll make me uncomfortable in the way that it's like a lot of people say it does for them. But that movie's good. I don't know. And it's an allegory for family trauma and dealing with grief in a family. But I don't know what it is about that movie that just doesn't make me feel things in the way that Midsommar does. And I've dealt with my own issues within my family, so I don't know. It's just weird. Even at the very end, when we figure out that the protagonist, the son, ends up being like the demon king or whatever, Paimon, I'm just like, oh, okay, well, thank God. Like, it took us a while to get there. It's very creepy, but I'm glad we finally got there, damn it. Like, other people are like, oh, it's so scary. And, it is scary, but I'm just like, Jesus, like, this family needs to chill. But yeah, I gotta watch that movie again so I can be spooked. But those type of movies, like, really, really scare me. Like, they're just so unsettling. And I think a movie that comes close to it is probably that one scene in Nope that I still haven't watched yet. That's another movie that is just like, oh my God. That, like, everything's chill, everything's relaxed, but there are like little scenes that just make you feel so uncomfortable. I don't know. I feel like Jordan Peele was in his Ari Aster bag when he came out with Nope. And I wasn't ready for it because I have to be like emotionally prepared for an Ari Aster movie. Like I remember in Nope with the chimp and how he's beating the female actress's face in, and you could hear the noises, right? And then young Jupe is just looking at him and he thinks that he has like telepathic animal powers, and then in the future he like exploits that and gets eaten by Jean Jacket, and every it's just awful. Like, I don't know, I wasn't ready for that. I just was not ready for that. But it's a good movie. I gotta finish it one of these days. I'm getting around to it. I feel like some of the big horror movies that I should probably watch that I really don't want to is probably gonna be Nope, House of a Thousand Corpses. I really don't want to watch that movie. I don't like seeing people get tortured. And maybe like a Terrifier movie. And that's another one. I don't want to see people get tortured. I'm not really big on body horror unless it has something to say. Okay, and then finally I started watching Weapons. I'm not finished with Weapons, but I started watching Weapons, and I love it so far. Because, okay, this is what I want to talk about. Because Weapons, the movie Weapons, about the 17 kids that disappeared at 2:17 a.m. is basically a movie inspired by the Sandy Hook shooting. Okay. And the Sandy Hook shooting took place in Connecticut. And I'm from Connecticut. Now, mind you, I never knew Sandy Hook existed in Connecticut. The most I knew about Connecticut was like Bloomfield, Hartford, Waterbury, Newington, Wethersfield, Milton, Bridgeport. I didn't even know Sandy Hook was a thing, right? Until this shooting happened. And I just remember, this is my first year in college, so I had finally been released of the shackles of Connecticut. Finally, I was living in Atlanta. I was going to school. I enjoyed going to school. I was hauled we had a 6-week-long vacation, and I was hauled by my aunt to go to Long Island to see my family, even though I really did not want to. Am I a bad person to say for saying that? Like, I just did not want to see my family. I just wanted to be with my parents. I wanted to have holidays. I wanted to have the holidays with my parents. I just wanted to be with them. And it felt like there was just so much pressure for me to just be around the family, even though I hated it. I hated it, right? And so, I remember I had came back first Christmas back from college, and the Sandy Hook shooting had happened. And I remember there was like one TV in my great-great-grandmother's living room, and we were watching all the news transpire and all the details. And my aunts, they were pretty old, right? They were like in their like one of my aunts was like in her like 60s, 70s. The other aunt was like in her 80s. And all they had the news on was the Sandy Hook shooting. That's all they had the news on. And so for about like 5 to 8 hours at a time, we were watching them. We were watching CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, all cover the Sandy Hook shooting in real time. And I just remember being so uncomfortable, being like, can we please watch something else? Can we please watch something? Like, this is very negative. Like, between 12 p.m. when I got there to like 9 p.m. when it was time for everyone to go to sleep, I had realized how many kids were missing. I had learned stuff about the shooter. I had learned stuff about the family. Expert witnesses came in, the police officer who had to handle the case, the police chief, all this not stuff happening in Connecticut. And I'm over here just like, okay, this is like putting a really big damper to my mental health. Like, I don't want to keep watching this. And I just remember feeling forced to watch them discuss the unalivings of these kids and how it made us change the conversations around gun control and gun violence, you know, or like question it, right? And which has been a constant argument now in like 2025. As to whether or not there should be stricter gun control laws or not. But, you know, I just remember that day when it happened, how uncomfortable I was, how I just didn't want to be in like with my family to begin with. They were in Long Island. I didn't want to be in Long Island. I just wanted to be with my parents. I wanted to be left alone. And then just feeling like forced against my will to constantly watch like all of the news transpire about these Sandy Hook victims and how negative it was for me, like how uncomfortable it was. So yeah, I'm gonna watch Weapons. I think it's very good so far. I really want to know how it ends. Like, is it gonna give like a weird Ari Aster ending? Because I want to know where those kids went to. But I think I don't know. I think that's a creative horror movie that they did a movie based off of the Sandy Hook shooting, and a part of me wondered like, okay, is it too soon? Is it too soon? Like, if someone wanted to make a mini series about 9/11 now, I'd be like, okay, girl, that happened like 20 years ago. But when they made the 9/11 movie that was 10 years from when 9/11 happened, I also was like, ooh, is this too soon? I was like 15. I was like, I don't know if we should be making a 9/11 movie. You know what I mean? But with this movie, Weapons, I don't know. I think it's a creative way of tackling a very hard subject. So I can't wait to watch that movie. Yes, or finish it, because I'm in the process of watching it right now. So yeah, with that in mind, let's get started with our Reddit stories. Okay, so I'm gonna read Reddit stories for about an hour, and then I'm probably gonna get off because I gotta cook, guys. I'm meal prepping now. I'm meal prepping and I'm going to the gym now. I don't know how long I'll be able to go to the gym, but I am going to the gym right now. I need to start selling feet or something. I need some money. Like, this is not working out for me. I saw this job opening to or for checking AI models to make sure that the answers they give users are correct. So basically you're like filtering through answers. I wonder if that's going to be a new job for people. If that's the jobs, those are the jobs that a lot of these tech bros are banking on creating, like those new jobs. Or is AI just going to displace a ton of jobs and we're all just going to be fucked? All right. Okay. So I'm going to read an Am I Overreacting? It's about art thing. And as I've said before, I don't really like Am I Overreactings about like love and relationships, because a part of me is like, okay, if you have to go to a subreddit, obviously you're not overreacting. Like, it'll be a girl who's like, hey guys, my boyfriend kicked me into the trash can. My boyfriend kicked me into the trash can and called me a bitch. Am I overreacting? No. And, you know, not making light of domestic abuse, but it's also just like, and I'm also glad that people can come in and like be that second opinion, especially when you're in a domestic, like abusive relationship, or any abusive relationship where you feel isolated. It's good to hear a third party tell you what it is, but it's also like, you know, you're not overreacting. Leave that guy. Another one that was really funny is a dude. I remember I read a story about a dude, and his girlfriend had spent the night with one of her best friends who used to date her, right? And he's like, am I overreacting for feeling uncomfortable that they're sleeping in the same bed? And I'm like, no. Dump her. She's still into him. The relationship and Am I Overreacting should just piss me off. But like also it shows like how much shit women are willing to put up with in order to be in a relationship, and I'm not okay with that. Like, women will literally be like, he kicked me in the stomach, pushed me in a trash can, called me a bitch, he called me out my name because I had standards. Am I overreacting? I feel like I am. And then everyone in the chat will be like, no, you're not overreacting. Like he's abusing you, right? And then like a dude will be like, she's with her best friend, bro. She might be with her best friend. She might cheat on me. Am I overreacting? And it's like, clearly not, dude. Like, you're not overreacting, but you like, I don't know, it just feels like there's levels, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, there's levels to like of what, I don't know, some women are willing to put up with versus what some men won't tolerate, you know. And that's unfortunate. But let me read this. Am I overreacting? My father ruined my drawing. I like to draw, so I feel like I could relate to this one. I, 19 female, have recently decided to learn how to draw. I've never been good at making art. It's never been my thing, but I'm a huge fan of cartoons and I want to learn how to draw my favorite characters. Awesome. This week I made this drawing of Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it's the first time I've actually done something I am really proud of. I know that for some experienced artists this is nothing, but to me it meant everything. It might not be the best fan art in the world, but when I finished it, I felt proud. I felt happy. I want to get better at painting and doing sketches, but this felt pretty good to me, and I showed it off to everyone in my house because I felt so good about my drawing. I left the sketch with a couple others I'd been working on at coffee table in the living room since I was looking for a frame to put it on. Oh, that's so great. I love it when artists like want to frame their artwork. You should always want to do that as an artist. Absolutely support, because I wanted to hold on to it as the first I had ever made. I put a hold on looking for a frame since my cousin, 15 female, came to spend the weekend at my home. She's an artist and was also proud of my sketch, which made me like it even more. Nice. About an hour ago, my cousin was leaving and I came to collect my drawing since my aunt brought me a frame to put it on as an early Christmas present by my cousin. But when I looked at it, I saw something someone had doodled over it. I immediately burst into tears and I felt my heart shattered. When I came into the kitchen and showed it to my family, my father admitted that it was him who had done it with the blue pen, joking that dude needed some lashes. I broke down crying again and told him he ruined my drawing. So he said that he did it, and why would he do that? And was just testing out the pen and decided to contribute to it somehow. My mother got pissed at me for making a scene in front of my cousin and my aunt, and my father kept telling me to grow up and stop crying for such a stupid reason, since I could just make another drawing. You idiot! No! Why would you do that? See, this is why when I was growing up, I always hid my drawings. And to this day, I'm like very uncomfortable with showing my artwork to some people. Why would you do that? I never, like, even when my little cousin would draw, like, he drew a tiger. It looked really good. Even when my little cousin would draw stuff, it would just be like I would never dare to draw over it. That's so rude. And why is the mother agreeing with him? Oh my God. I would chew him out. I'd be like, are you fucking dumb? Why would you do some shit like that? That's her drawing. Now you go draw it. Oh my God. I tried explaining to him the sentimental value this sketch had and how making another one will fix the issue, and that he knew how much the drawing meant to me. I also told him that he would have been pissed if I doodled over his work spreadsheets, but he said it's not a fair comparison. It absolutely is a fair comparison. Both my mom and my dad are pissed at me for being upset about the drawing. They think I'm overreacting, but to me, it's not just a drawing. It's about dismissing my feelings and the effort I put into this work. My father refuses to oh my God. What generation are her parents from? And my mom thinks I embarrassed my father in front of his sister. So Reddit, am I overreacting? Absolutely not. As an artist, you are not overreacting at all. This is rude. Like, this is like art, like code, right? Like you don't draw over other people's work. You just don't do that. You don't, unless they ask you to, you don't do that. Like, that is very terrible, especially for a new artist, because something about art is that there's a lot of competition and it's very easy for you to get demoralized or feel unconfident or not so confident in your artwork if you when you're just starting, because you're just learning how to draw, you're learning how anatomy works, you're learning color, value, shape, all those things. And drawing really is one of those things that you have to practice to get better at, and it can be really, really hard for a lot of people to just come to terms with that sentiment. And so when you create something for the first time and you truly feel proud of it, you do have a lot of sentimental value over it. You care a lot about, like, okay, this is something I never thought I could do before. I'm able to do this. And, I want to hold value to this certain chapter in my art career or in my, like, art practice, And so what I don't like about this story particularly is how the family is handling it. Like, I just don't like that. Like, where the parents care more about the girl who's clearly hurt, embarrassing the family, over the father who clearly overstepped the boundary. And now they're dunking on the girl, saying that this isn't that serious. Why are you being so sensitive? Something that always pissed me off with my parents is that they would always invalidate my feelings, bro. Invalidate my feelings to the point where, like, I just stopped talking to them, because it's like, you actually don't care about my feelings. But I didn't, like, pick up on this, because I would always, like, talk about some of the issues I'd have, and they'd be like, it's not that bad, it's not that serious. I get very annoyed when people have kids and then they don't know how to resonate with the kids that they have. And that's the vibe I get in this in this story, is that OP's parents don't know how to resonate with their child in all different phases of their life. And again, it makes me question, like, okay, so then why did you have this kid? Like, why did you do this? Like, you're not a good parent, and you're especially not a good parent for invalidating your kid's feelings, for not bringing your husband to task and being like, why would you do something like that? That's awful. And then turning it around on the daughter and being like, you're embarrassing everybody. Stop it. Get it together. That's a recipe for your kid to go no contact when she leaves. Because, like, what are you talking about? Like, you're completely invalidating her. Like, and I think people forget that. Think of, like, the most biggest important accomplishment in your life. Maybe him working on his spreadsheets. That's super important to you. That's a big accomplishment. I don't know what he does, right? Like, it really is the same as somebody taking a pen and marking up your spreadsheets. All of your accomplishments, all your work and efforts for work. Just because you get paid for it and she doesn't mean that it doesn't hold the same value. That's where she's at currently in her life. It's just as important as your spreadsheets that you do for your job that you probably hate. Okay, so, like, I don't know, like, that's really, really awful. Like, why would you do something like that? And I can't stand that the mother immediately goes to the defense of the dad. Again, this is why I used to hide my sketches and I hide my sketchbook. Like, I used to do that a lot as a kid, because I just didn't. And I think it's also to go back to, like, me getting picked on for playing with dolls when I was a kid. I think it's also because I had finally found a thing that I felt comfortable and safe in, where I didn't want anybody else to, like, take that from me, if that makes any sense. Like, I didn't want anybody else to gatekeep my experience. I didn't want anybody else to, ruin my experience. And then to jump into the future when I was in college and I was drawing Sonic OCs and I got picked on for that. It was like that whole thing happened all over again. And I spent, like, years trying to, like, break out of being, like, the Sonic OC girl. And eventually I did, right? And it was a crazy time, because I'm talking, like, folks who would probably watch Has Been Hotel unironically now were, like, dunking on me for liking Sonic. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was a crazy time. But I don't know. That's a lot of the reasons why, like, some of the interests I have, I kind of keep to myself. Because I just don't want anybody to ruin it for me or gatekeep the experience for me or be like, you don't know this, that, and the other. So, like, some of the interests I have now, I'll casually talk about them, but I won't fangirl out. So your dad and mom are assholes. Yeah, definitely. Yep. And OP, you did a beautiful job. It's okay to be sad. I'm sorry your parents suck. Parents absolutely suck. I hate the type of parents who are like, stop being so sensitive, and then, like, do effed up mess like this. I really hate parents like that, because it shows me you as a parent are not good at your job. You probably should not have kids. You are very emotionally immature. Like, at the very least, can you learn how to be an emotionally mature adult before you decide to bring a child into this world and know how to work with them? Because what do you mean? You're fully grown adults. This mess really pisses me off. You are a fully grown adult and you are projecting the issue of her getting upset and crying over a drawing that another fully grown adult who has at least been an adult for, like, 20 years of their life or so. I'm assuming that their parents are maybe in their 40s or 50s or whatever. And you're making it a whole thing of, you are embarrassing us. But you guys have been adults way longer than your daughter has. You're embarrassing us. Stop doing that. No, you embarrassed her. You're the adult acting like a 12-year-old. You embarrassed her. Why would you do this? Like I said, when you first start drawing, every little drawing you make, it's a big effing deal. It's a big effing deal. Yeah, if your kid goes no contact in 5 years, please don't be surprised. Yes, literally, it makes sense for an artist. I've had problems with deep depression and recently made some sketches I'm proud of after a long period of zero creativity. I'd be frightfully pissed if someone messed them up for such a stupid reason, like an adult acting like a toddler. A lot of parents, especially like boomer parents and Gen X parents, are not emotionally mature. Y'all are not emotionally mature. And the older I get, the more I realize that. Even just like connecting with people who are, I want to say like 10 to 15 years older than me, not everybody. Some of y'all are also not emotionally mature either. You guys aren't. So, not all of y'all, but a good chunk of y'all just like don't know how to be good people and what that entails. The audacity of the dad telling her to grow up right after he scribbled. Yeah, exactly. Like what? Right after you scribbled on a drawing like a bored toddler with a marker. The production is blinding. A lot of these parents and like older generations, a lot of y'all be projecting so bad. Go to therapy. Please. It's embarrassing. He's also acting in bad faith about OP over one of his spreadsheets being different. The spreadsheets are printed from his computer or device and presumably were saved. So it's definitely less of a big deal if she doodled on them, even though her dad dismissed it. OP, you are not overreacting. And I say this as a 38-year-old female who loves my fucking spreadsheet. Exactly. This won't save your picture or the sentimental value attracted to it. It won't make it so you can frame it as it was. But there are apps you can use on a phone or tablet to scan images on paper that you can then save to your device or cloud storage. Consider doing that if for no other reason than to keep a running memory of progress. That's another thing. You want to keep progress of your drawing skills. Now your dad effed it all up with his markings. I save my daughter's art that way and return them to her. That way I can remember too. We both can. I love this person. They're a great parent. And they're 38. Yeah, this is a great parent. That's another reason why I always hid like my drawings from people, because I didn't want my parents being weird about it either. It was really like, I just want this to be for me. I just want this to be my thing. I know it's such an unbelievably childish thing to do. Later on in life, when they try to figure out why their kid hates them, they can pinpoint this moment in time. They probably won't. That's the sad thing. A lot of like emotionally immature parents can never, like, they don't want to come to terms, or nor do they ever want to pinpoint as to why their kid doesn't want to interact with them anymore. No, they won't. They'll default to the victim mentality that so many parents do, so many other parents that cause this exact same hurt to their children do. After everything we've done for OP, I don't know why she doesn't come around. Yeah, and that's another, I've said this before. I don't like the argument of all the stuff I've done for you. I've done this, I've done that, want. And it's like, well, that's what you're supposed to do as a parent. So that's a decision you made when you involuntarily brought another human into this world. Congratulations. Ooh. So yeah, this is unfortunate. I'm sorry that the dad ruined the drawing. That wasn't funny. I would be so angry if that happened. Okay, no, we're not doing a girlfriend. Am I overreacting? Bought cheese slices with me to McDonald's to put in burgers. Had a fight with a friend. Okay, I'm gonna read this one. All right, yeah. A friend was hanging out at my home. We decided to get McDonald's in Australia. McDonald's in Australia. McDonald's. Macca's. I guess they would call it that, Macca's. Also, did you hear about the terrorist attack in Australia? I'm so concerned. I think that's the second terrorist attack they've had over there, over hate crimes on anti-Semitism. Guys, be careful. Be careful out there. My condolences to the family, because they have very strict gun laws over there. So it usually, stuff like that usually doesn't happen there. It usually happens here in the US. So that's very unfortunate. God. right. Okay, so we decided to get McDonald's in Australia. It's expensive, and I don't believe spending $16 for a meal. Yee. McDonald's is that expensive? Remember when they had the value meals? You could get like a burger, for 2 burgers, fries, and a cup of water, all for under $5. What happened? Especially when I'm gonna get hungry 15 minutes later. Anyway, a hamburger is $2 and a cheeseburger is $5.30. Those cheeseburgers are not worth $5. Sometimes when I go to McDonald's, I just get a hamburger and put my own sliced cheese in it to make it a cheeseburger. When we went to McDonald's, and I did that today, I did just that. I bought 2 cheese packet slices and got 2 hamburgers for $4, but put the slices in. Keep in mind, we did a drive-through and no one was watching us, just us 2 in the car. My friend said she's embarrassed for me, and I said I ain't paying $11 for 2 cheeseburgers when I just paid $4 and just bought my own cheese. What's wrong with that? That's genius. I would do that shit. Absolutely. I'd be the friend like hell, like this guy right here. They're living in 2015. The future is now. Big brain. She said if I do anything cheap again in public, she will be more embarrassed and will walk in front of me. Is our friend classes? That's not cheap. That's smart in this economy. Because I know in America we're suffering, but I also know in other countries they are going through it in this economy, bro. That like China's going through it. Oh my God, nah. That's smart. Absolutely. I would be the type to bring my own cheese, to bring my own pickles, to bring my own onions. I'd bring a little, like I'd take those Chinese takeout containers and put all of my sides in it, and then I would go to McDonald's, get a hamburger, and dress my burger up. Because what's the problem? Because not in this economy am I gonna pay for a bacon cheeseburger for $11 at McDonald's of all restaurants? Hell no. She said if I do anything cheap again in public, she will be more embarrassed and will walk in front of me. She was actually serious. Then I said, Your top is from Shein or Temu. I don't think you can speak. Clock it. Because I can't stand a fake bougie bitch. Oh my God. I'm going to put a pin in that. The little passive aggressive argument won out, and I finally said, what is your fucking problem? What I'm doing is not that serious. I just bought my own cheese to save money. Not that big of a deal, and no one is watching. I feel sorry for you that you feel that you need to impress strangers at McDonald's. Exactly. It was an awkward drive back home, and then she left my home. We didn't contact each other. Am I overreacting? Edit. Sorry, I didn't think this would blow up. To answer some questions, it was one of those packet cheese slices individually wrapped that you get at supermarkets for like $4 for a packet of 24. I love that for you. Though I'd be the friend who'd be like, is that American cheese? Because this would probably pop off with like some cheddar or white cheddar cheese. I don't know why you would get American cheese. I didn't tell her I was doing it before we left. I just put those cheese slices in my pockets. McDonald's was a 5-minute drive. Yes, you can check Australian hamburger versus cheeseburger prices. A hamburger is $2 and a cheeseburger is $5.30, but it can vary from store to store. One selling it for like $5.50. That's too much for a cheeseburger at McDonald's. To be honest, even if we were dining in, I would have to still put it on. No one is going to care, and I highly doubt anyone is going to see. If they do see, they can judge all they want. No one cares at McDonald's. If you care about someone putting condiments on their burger at McDonald's, beloved, I feel so sorry for you. What, like in this economy, my friend is not rich nor broke, but also she's not the smartest person financially, okay? I myself ain't cheap per se, in the sense I will try to penny pinch everything. I honestly don't see the point of paying $5.30 for a cheeseburger, which feeds a 3-year-old, when I could just bring my own and pay $2 for 2 cheeseburgers. I can get 5 hamburgers and just bring 5 cheese slices. I mean, I want 2 burgers or 5 burgers for the same price. Also, the cheese I got tastes way better than McDonald's cheese. Exactly. In my opinion, it actually has a cheese taste. Exactly. So, this person is living in 2050, okay? Like, We went to McDonald's because it's 11:30 p.m. Okay, so it's late. So you're not even going during like the daytime or like during someone's lunch break. Nothing is really open at the time except for expensive food truck places, and their burgers alone, not a meal, can easily be $17 for one burger. And how much you want to bet that that one burger is insanely underwhelming? After tonight, don't think I want to contact her again. She showed her true colors. Okay, let's talk about this. I don't think they're overreacting for not wanting to rock with this friend anymore. But more importantly, what I really want to talk about is that the friend got their top from Shein or Temu. I don't think you can speak. A lot of these fast fashion companies, a lot of their stuff is mad cheap, bro. A lot of their outfits, a lot of their clothes they look very, very cheap. They look like a dupe of a dupe of a dupe of a dupe of a dupe. Family Guy, remember when Stewie made a clone of himself and he called it Bitch Stewie? And then he made a clone of Brian, and like Bitch Brian was like not all the way there. It's very much so what some of these clothes are giving. Dupe of a dupe of a dupe. You want the original IMG two-piece set that Maddie Perez wore in Euphoria, or do you want the bitch version cheap on Temu or Shein for $5 that you're probably gonna rip before the night is over? Okay, here's what I don't like, because if I can get deep with it, okay, I've been noticing that there has been a lot of classism in social media spaces. I've been noticing that there has been a push for like the old money, timeless, classic aesthetic, all that nonsense. And I noticed that, you know, there is a need to want to look a part of a culture that you would never be included in, right? Personally, for me, I can't stand a fake bougie girl. I can't stand a fake bougie girl. I can't stand a fake bougie dude who's going to sit up here and be like, not you putting cheese on your McDonald's hamburger at McDonald's at 11 p.m. when nobody's here. That's cheap. That's embarrassing. But literally your top is from Shein or Temu and nobody bats an eye. Nobody says anything. In this economy where a flimsy ass McDonald's cheeseburger is like $5, which isn't even worth that amount, right? Why wouldn't you go for the hamburger, bring your cheese, and then put it on the hamburger? To play devil's advocate, maybe the cheese slices were cumbersome and maybe the OP was making a whole scene putting the cheese on the cheeseburger. But even then, I don't think I would care as a friend, because that type of stuff doesn't really bother me. Because I actually love friends who are smart like that. I love friends who like Frankenstein shit together and are like, oh, okay, I got this Publix or I got this Chipotle bowl. They didn't get me cheese and sour cream on the Chipotle bowl. Bet. Let me bring my cheese. Let me bring my sour cream. Let me bring my hot sauce and put it in the Chipotle bowl. Like, what's wrong with that? No one's going to say anything. Nobody cares that much. Everybody's too stressed with their own stuff. But it's also just like you trying to figure out what is considered cheap or not. Meanwhile, you're over here wearing the dupe of a dupe of a dupe of a designer name brand clothing product from a Chinese sweatshop. Like, really, girl? I don't like a fake bougie bitch. If you're gonna be bougie, if you're gonna be that girl that got money like that isn't trying to be cheap, you better back it up. If you're really like a real bougie bitch, right? They'd be like, girl, we don't have to go to McDonald's. I got you. Let's go to this swanky restaurant that's open at like 12 a.m. Or let's hire a private chef or something. I don't know. Or let me get you this overly expensive food truck burger that we were talking about. You don't got to do all that. That's what a real bougie bitch would do. But this is like, I don't know. This seems like a friend that is trying to prove to everybody that she's better than how she actually is. And it's all about appearances and looking the part, but really doesn't have the money to be a part. Also, like, really wealthy people, like, I'm pretty sure this shit doesn't really bother them. Like, they don't really care. Because they're probably not eating at McDonald's. They probably have a private chef on call making them food whenever they want. She's embarrassed because Mickey D's is such a luxe establishment where society's finest gather to dine. And the drive-thru, they didn't even, that's another thing. We're in the drive-thru. At that point, let me join you and bring in condiments to put on our burgers in the drive-thru. I wouldn't be mad if OP did do it in the restaurant. Nobody's checking for the restaurant. So, and my mom used to be like this when we were in restaurants too. She was really big on manners, and sometimes I just felt she was making stuff up so that I just couldn't exist as a person, as a teenager, as a kid, right? And so she used to really be like, "Oh my God, it's so ghetto that people bring their hot sauces to the restaurant or their own seasonings to the restaurant. That's so crazy." And I'd be over here like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, it's not my business. Like, it really isn't. Personally, if I were the friend, I would have given you shit for it because that's funny AF, and then brought cheese slices next time because you're onto something. $3.50 for cheese is crazy work. Yeah, that's what I would do. I'd be the friend who'd be like, no, let's maximize this idea and bring all the condiments and just get like 12 hamburgers and see how many burger combos we can make. If I was a friend, I would have been mad they didn't bring cheese slices for me too. Shit, my broke ass is all about saving where you can. I don't mean actually mad, I meant in a playful way. Yeah, in Ireland, you'll definitely be getting cheese slices and pickles for the next few Christmases. Hey, there are some very fine cheeses and pickles. Okay, so this is a continuation. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think this person is overreacting for cutting off their friend. Yeah, this isn't a friend though. I don't like people who care too much about appearances to the point where something like this bothers you. That tells me a lot about your character as a person. That tells me that you really do care about looking the part. And I don't like being around people like that. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. Okay. So let's read another story. Am I overreacting? My daughter's partner is too tight-fisted. What does tight-fisted mean? Tight-fisted. Urban Dictionary. Oh, stingy. Unwilling to lend or spend money on a friend's behalf. Oh. Am I overreacting? My daughter, 30, has been dating for about 4 years with a male 30. I'm concerned that his penny pinching ways are having an effect on her health. This isn't friendship, this is relationship, but I'll read it to get it over with. He only showers at hers as he says it's too expensive to have one at his house. I don't even want to finish reading this, bro. You know the answer. You know she's not overreacting. Never uses his car on joint trips as fuel is too dear. She drives them in her car, always insists on paying for their own food and drinks when eating out. But if he decides he's not hungry, we'll share her plate, use her house to work from home. The list is endless. My predicament is that I see it's wearing her down. I know all the things he does because she tells me. I've commented that she will never be happy with him due to his meanness. In other ways, he seems okay, is courteous and polite. She today phoned me to ask if I would drive him to a train station. But absolutely not. About 40 miles from home because it would add 27 pounds to his fare if we went to his local station, and then to collect him on Tuesday. I of course declined. I've said to my wife I'm reluctant to have him visit us on Boxing Day for lunch. He won't bring a gift or a bottle and will ask for leftovers. What is Boxing Day? Sorry, I gotta look this up. Offering Day, a holiday celebrated on 26th of December, the day after Christmas. Boxing Day was once a day to donate gifts to those in need. Oh, okay, all right. He won't bring a gift or a bottle and will ask for leftovers to take home. He has a good job, which pays £1,600 a month into a savings account. Do I speak up or shut up? Thank you. You speak up. Absolutely. What? Why are you conditioning your daughter to be a dusty magnet? Like, speak up. If that were my daughter, I'd say, you leave him. No, that's a scrub. No, he's too old to be doing all this. When you're in a relationship with someone, it's going to cost money, time, or effort. Like one of those three things. And you got to be okay with that. If you're not okay with that, you shouldn't be in a relationship. All right, I'm done with that one. I'm not even going to read the comments because I can't do a relationship stuff. It's just like, what do you mean? Do you think you're overreacting? No, you're not, bro. You're not. Tell her to dump him. He's not worth it. Or tell her to put in firm boundaries if she's not willing to dump him. Am I overreacting for finally snapping on my friend who owes me $1,500 post-luxury trips on IG but claims they're too broke to pay me back? Influencer friends. Y'all are going to learn real quickly that the friends you make on social media, the influencer type friends, like if y'all are together for aesthetics, that's not a real friendship. And if you're like, I knew a person like this, like if you're the type of person, if you're friends with a person who's trying to make it as an influencer, but like they're broke all the time, they never have their shit together, they don't have any money, but they're always flexing about all the luxury things that they get to do, girl, leave that person. They are going to disappoint you. I've always been the friend who lends money without interest, without contracts, without hesitation, because I genuinely trusted everyone in our group. I've covered dinners, trips, concert tickets, you name it, and never once made anyone feel bad about it. Meanwhile, they're posting Instagram stories from fancy brunches, weekend getaways, new clothes, and concerts almost every week, but apparently can't scrape together even a partial payment. Now, some of our mutual friends are saying I should just let it... I should let it go because money shouldn't come between friends, and that I'm being too harsh by setting a deadline. But I'm over here stressing about my own bills and credit card payments while watching them live their best life. Am I really an asshole for finally putting my foot down, or should I just write off the money and the friendship at this point? So here's where I see what's going on with OP. Okay, where I'm gonna hold OP accountable is anytime you loan money, especially that big of an amount, I feel like you should make sure that you have that same amount 3 times over in your bank account, so that if a friend, like if you're going to give a friend $1,500, or if you're going to give a friend like $75 or $5 or $50, however much money, so that you don't have to keep hounding them, like you should probably give with the intention of not getting it back. I know it's kind of messed up, and I know a lot of people don't agree with that sentiment, but you really should give with the intention of not trying to get that money back to you in return, you know? Because shit like this can happen where it's a really big amount. It's $1,500. You need to pay your bills. This person can't even give you the money back. Before I'm hounding a friend for money, I don't think I could ever safely now currently with how much money I'm not making, right? And even if I did have a job, I don't think I could ever loan someone $1,500. I don't think I could ever do it. I could get them things that equates to $1,500 that they need, but $1,500 in money, absolutely not. Because I know I'm not going to get that money back. Like every time I give money to people, it's under the impression that I'm not going to get that $30, that $40, that $1,500, that I'm not going to get that money back. So that when we get into the situation of, oh, they're going to brunch, they're going to weekend getaways, they're doing these concerts, but they can't pay me back, that never crosses my mind, because I knew when you asked me to loan you that money, I wasn't going to get it back to begin with. You know? So just to clock OP a little bit, not really trying to clock, but just like, you know, when you do give money, make sure you change your mindset on it, where you should not expect to get the money back. And if you do, it's nice. Otherwise, don't give out money at all. If someone asks you, hey, can you cover my rent this month? No, I can't. No, I can't. No, I can't. And I think it's very interesting because, again, it just shows you the type of friends that they have where they're like, let it go because money shouldn't come between friends. Yes, it should. Yes, it should. $1,500 is a rent payment. That's a lot of money. That absolutely will come in between friends. If I'm giving you $1,500 and then I keep giving you more money and you keep saying you're going to pay me back, unless I know you're going through like a really difficult time in your life and you need that money, I might be like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Right. But, I don't want to hang out with you if you know that you owe me money and you're doing all of these other fancy things. Like, that just makes me feel very uncomfortable because it shows where your priorities lie. And then another thing, I don't know, this is why I've been very apprehensive about what I post online now, and I don't really post too much. Not everybody needs to know what you're doing, not everyone needs to know that you're on brunch, that you're doing weekend getaways, you're going to concerts and stuff. Not everybody needs to know that. I don't know. I just feel very like some of the experiences I do have, I just want them to be very, very personal to me now. And not everyone needs to know where I am exactly anymore. So, but yeah, these aren't good friends. I think OP should not hang out with these people anymore because money should come between friends if you're not willing to pay somebody back that big amount of money, And if anything, the friend should be like, listen, if it's that bad, let me give you the $1,500. Yeah. But I don't know. Their friend seems like a wannabe influencer and they're flopping badly. Just ask your friends to loan you money. But honestly, letting someone borrow $1,500 when you're struggling with bills is insane. Don't do that ever. Again, make sure you have like $1,500 4 times over in your bank account so that if you have to give that money away, it doesn't hurt that much. But even if I did have that 4 times over in my bank account, unless we'd have to be dating or fucking no, we'd have to be dating for that to and times would have to be really, really hard. Like rent would have to be due and we're splitting rent, or like you just lost your job so I have to cover rent, like that. And again, this is if I'm making that money 4 or 5 times over. But even then, like with friends, hey, can you cover my light bill? No, I can't. If your light bill is like $300 and I don't got it, no, I can't. No, I can't cover your light bill. No, sorry. Write it off internally, but I'd post a comment like, oh, looks nice. Does that mean you can finally pay me back? I would do that too. If OP isn't getting paid back, may as well choose violence and call out the vacuous friend. Yeah. Am I overreacting? Someone from work recorded me working out and shared the video with my what? This is gonna piss me off. This is gonna piss me off. Because why the hell are we recording people? Stop doing that. Especially in the gym where everyone's trying to get better. If you are somebody who records people intentionally in the gym, you are an awful human being. I hope you never get your results in the gym at all. Unless the person you're recording is making you feel very uncomfortable. I hear that happens a lot with some girls in the gym. So, and it can happen with dudes too. So if someone's making you feel very uncomfortable and you need evidence, that's one thing. But if you're just like recording people because you can, like I remember a long time ago on TikTok, there was a girl who recorded a woman with a very pronounced BBL. Like that BBL was very pronounced. It was definitely giving like it was given hentai level, J Marvel level of proportions. Okay, right? And this regular bodied woman, right, with a normal body, right, not a pronounced like hourglass BBL body, was just filming this girl walking on the treadmill at Planet Fitness, the judgment free zone. That's the one place where they encourage you. They will tell you the number one rule: do not judge. If you see the old man doing his form bad and using the elliptical wrong, if you see a person in the corner doing a whole Broadway dance routine while hitting the leg extension machine, you do not judge them. Everybody minds their business. That's what you do at Planet Fitness. You mind your business. And what do you mean you're recording this person because of how they look at the gym? What do you mean? And then had the audacity to post it on TikTok and be like, see, that's a problem with BBL cultures, guys. That's a problem with BBL culture. That's why BBL culture is affecting us, guys. That's affecting us because look at her. She looks awful. Meanwhile, look at me. Like, literally, this is what she did. She was like, look at me. I have a natural body. This is what men really want. Like, needless to say, she got banned from the gym. The judgment-free zone. Of course, she got banned from that gym. And I think she had to delete her TikTok account. Because what were you doing? What was the point of that? What was the point? I see botched up BBLs all the time at the gym now. You think I'm going to post it? No. Because, like, you know, that's their business. It really is their business. It's not mine. I'm just trying to get these gains. Minding my business. For context, I'm really overweight, so I'm See, I hate that. I hate that. All right, so for context, I'm really overweight, so I'm self-conscious about going to the gym to do certain exercises. I was doing calisthenics for a bit, but I didn't want to go to the gym because it was super embarrassing. I'm sorry. I would work out with you. JK. I like to work out by myself, but I would be like encouraging in the background, like, you're doing awesome. Keep it up. I did burpees, skipping, push-ups, jumping jacks, etc. I used to run with a pack on to carry some of my stuff, like a water bottle and extra weight, because it would help at the time, but obvious it wasn't necessary, to a secret location in the forest near me to do my exercise and then I would run home. It would take me about 2 hours to run and do the exercises. Well, I guess someone from work saw me and recorded a video of me doing burpees. They were showing the video to people at work. Then I went into the gym. I live on a military base, but I'm not military. And there was a sign on the running track with my last name on it that said, I should do 1,000 burpees. Like, what WTF should I do? Mind your own business, you fucking losers. So you're not overreacting, but the person who did that is fucking awful. That, like, and their karma is probably going to be them, like, being morbidly obese now to the point where they can't move. That's how the world works. Why would you do that? I don't know if that's like military base humor, if that's how they are at the military, but yeah, I agree with this post here. Straight to HR or upper management. Absolutely. I would get you banned from the gym in a heartbeat. That is so rude. Like, people already feel uncomfortable. Like, some of those gym machines are very weird. Like, the hip abductor machine makes me feel very uncomfortable, but especially when people are trying to work on their bodies, they're trying to change their aesthetics, or they're trying to lose weight, or whatever their goal is. They already feel uncomfortable in the gym as it is. You've made them feel worse by filming them. Why would you do that? Why do people enjoy filming people now? That is weird. What is conducive to that outside of just shaming someone? That is like weirdo behavior. Hopefully they didn't post it on social media. Okay, thanks. This happened a while ago, so I can't really do anything about it now. It's just been eating at me, and I was wondering if I was overreacting. No. If someone filmed me immediately, I don't care. I'm snitching. I'm going to HR. I'm going to the gym manager. I'm be like, listen, somebody film me here. I'm very uncomfortable. I don't know who it is. I would give the social media handle. If I knew who it was, I'd give him a social media handle and everything. And I'd be like, I think you should take this person out of your gym because this is not making me feel comfortable at all. If all of you still work there, it isn't too late. Is the other person in the military? Nah, that coworker should have never recorded you, let alone share it. I would absolutely have gone to HR over this, or the police. ETA last sentence. Yeah. Is this a guy or a girl? Because I think another thing I want to talk about is that I don't know, I feel like guys, like, they joke with each other in a very harsh way where they think that this type of shit is funny, where they think like picking on each other is funny, and then they don't offer space for, like, I don't know, men to grieve and have emotions and be emotional and be like, hey man, you hurt my feelings, that's effed up, you know? Like, so if this was a guy, that's very unfortunate, because you shouldn't have to bottle up your emotions and tough it out because, you know, you work on the military and that's just how it is as a man, you know what I mean? So I do wonder about that. I don't know who, like, what this person's gender is. Not that it should, like, entirely be my business, but it's just weird. If this was a girl and another girl recorded them, that is not girls behavior. That's bully ass behavior. You're a bully. Like, you're a bitch. Sorry. Obesity, if it applies, is classed as a disability by the ADA, therefore a protected characteristic. I did not know that. Technically, I'm obese. I wonder if I can get a disability check from it. No, I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. This is actually a low-level hate crime. Yes. They could get in serious trouble over it, and they deserve to. I think you should definitely make a report. Yeah. Though we're in this era of culture now where we don't want to talk about or unpack fat phobia in the way that we were trying to in the 2010s, where it's all about get skinny, there's no excuses because now we have the Ozempic, right? And I don't like that. I don't like that because with that mindset, we are encouraging EDs and skinny culture, right? And then, I mean, to bring pop culture into it, like Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo from Wicked for Good, they've just wrapped up all of Wicked. Like, the press tour is done. I don't think we're going to be hearing from Wicked for a while, right? And I still have to watch For Good. I think I'm going to watch it this Wednesday. But, the way people just showed a lack of emotional intelligence tearing these women down because they're obviously getting skinnier. And I think it's so nefarious now because back in the 2000s, they'd be like, oh, girl, you're just too fat. You need to lose weight. Oh, girl, you're too skinny. You have an ED or you're on DRUGSs, right? Now it's like this fake, like, hey, sis. Hey, hun. Hey, I'm worried about you type of mean girl energy that I don't like, especially when it comes to bodies, right? It's like, hey, sis, I'm worried about you. So why don't you eat cucumbers and water so that you can lose all of that weight because you're fat? Why don't you get on Ozempic so you can lose all that weight because you're too big? Hey, sis, I'm worried about you. You're like really, really skinny. It's very, very concerning. In a way, you're promoting EDs. Why are you so skinny? This is like unsettling and unhealthy. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think people realize how like patterns and cycles repeat themselves and how you are single-handedly contributing to the problem while engaging in that discourse. Bring bullying back. No. Don't bring bullying back. Bring back accountability, reasonable accountability. Bullying never did anything. People who get bullied crash out. Then you get Sandy Hooks and Columbine shooting. Being real here, like, that's exactly what happens when you want to bring bullying back. And it's to a grander scale now because it's not just that you get bullied at school or bullied at college or like you get bullied out on the internet too. Now everybody's so comfortable telling their story times about how they fell out with their friend, about how, you know, somebody in their friend group was toxic, about how the girls' trip went wrong, about how the guys' trip went wrong. Like, people are just really weird now. And I do think that, like, it's going to get to the point where if you film somebody without their consent and you post it anywhere, it will get to a low-level hate crime type of energy because no one consented to being filmed. People are just way too comfortable now. They're just way too comfortable whipping out their phone, filming something. And I really hate the people who film stuff of people like going through like a hard time, genuine issues or whatever, right? I really hate those people. And then they post it on social media. Like, you uncreative, talented POS. You have nothing thought-provoking to bring to the internet space that you feel like you have to record other individuals in order to get yourself clout and influence. Like, F you. You're pathetic. You're not overreacting. It was rude and it's still rude. If were a military person and you know who the person is that put the poster up, you could have went to their superior and said something. But since it's been some time, I just think tell yourself, yep, that sucked and it was wrong. It's okay to be mad about it, but keep doing you, keep exercising, eating healthy. That's so sad. Still and it is workplace bullying. I hate workplace bullying. I hate workplace bullies. You can tell like their life is miserable. If you bully people at work, your life is miserable. Like, you don't have any joy at home. Like, work is the only place where you feel superior. Sounds a bit like harassment, leaving a note like that. Do you have an HR department? I would take it up with them. A bit, just a wee bit. HR immediately. Good on you for taking care of yourself. I'm sorry people suck. You should be able to work out without judgment. Yeah, exactly. Am I overreacting for getting irritated with early AM messages? Am I overreacting? What would you have done? I've had this online friend. Okay. Well, I don't know what we're overreacting with, so I don't have the details. Am I overreacting? Sister pierced her own snake bites at home. By yourself? Yes. Why? Okay. My sister, 16 female, has a couple of piercings that she has done herself. I'll be completely honest. Her septum, navel piercing, and tongue piercing. The first two she did at 14. The last one at 15. Healed pretty well. I am leaning on getting like my own piercing kit now. Like, I want to pierce my nose and my ears. And I'm just thinking, you know what, girl? Maybe you just got to do it by yourself. Maybe you got to bite the bullet and do it by yourself. Because I got my ears pierced the second time and it was like $50 and the hole closed. So I could probably like re-pierce that at the very least. But yeah, let's go back to the story. Healed up pretty well. However, all got infected when she first pierced them, and her smiley fell out within 2 days. Last night, she messaged me saying that she pierced her own snake bites. Every time she had done a piercing on herself, she has not done them the correct cleaning methods and will not use proper jewelry until it's healed. I messaged a shared friend, 18 female, and she told me that I was overreacting, that if she's safe, there's nothing wrong with it. Even if I insisted that it could become dangerous and she doesn't have access to just stop at the store and get supplies. Turns out today she did her own double ear piercing with my sister. I could understand some ear piercings and nose piercings being done at home, but to me, anything just seems borderline unsafe, especially considering she's piercing herself with an Amazon piercing kit and has a record of improper piercing care. I don't think piercings are bad or ugly, or even that she looks bad with them. They complement her very well. I'm just concerned about her health. I just think she should have gone to a piercer. Am I overreacting? No, probably not. Would have given you the money to get them done at a piercing shop. What did you use to pierce them? A needle. Dude, I have a piercing kit. Chill out. Ask when you see her why that's not safe. It can lead to really bad infections. What happened to her? I've done almost all my piercings myself and not one has gotten infected. Yeah, but it doesn't take much. You have the stuff for it. Yes, I do. Just not the right jewelry. Mom's gonna take me to get some. Okay, you should have waited till you got the right jewelry. I don't know why this is funny to me, but I don't think they're overreacting. But it's just kind of like, I don't know, your little sister is doing dumb shit. It's like, you can learn the hard way, I guess. I'm sure it looks nice, but yeah, I was thinking about getting my own piercing kit. Really, I really want to like pierce all of my ears and then maybe get my industrial done. But I don't know. The idea of someone piercing their tongue without any formal training is horrifying. Oh, snake bites is with the tongue. Oh, I knew someone in high school that did that, did their own Prince Albert. What is a Prince Albert? Oh, 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 oh. Okay. I did not know that. I should have looked that up on my phone. Okay. Oh Lord, that's almost impressive because what the fuck? You need to have a special kind of brave or stupid to have the balls for that. Knowing this guy, I'm leaning towards stupid. Almost impressive. Oh my God. Prince Albert, I'm old. And HS we pranked called a store number from the phone book asking if they had Prince Albert in a can pipe tobacco. When they said yes, we'd say, well, you better let him out. So it just sounds like you're not referring to Prince Albert tobacco. Oh, I had my friend pierce my tongue for me in the kitchen when I was 14. And even I shudder at night at the thought of doing it yourself. Yeah, piercing your tongue. Plus, it's not good on your teeth. Anything, I hear piercings around your mouth are not good because like it can really mess up your teeth. So, yeah. I don't think you're an asshole or you're overreacting for asking your sister not to pierce her own snake bites. But I do think this is just like dumb little sister shit, like little sibling shit. Like they just do dumb shit. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not excusing it, but it's just like it's kind of funny. And I love that they would be willing to like pay for them to get their ears pierced, or get their snake bites done by a piercer, a professional piercer. Maybe they're not old enough to get their snake bites pierced, and maybe that's why they did it by themselves. But yeah, piercing nowadays is very, very expensive, like super, super expensive, because of the tariffs going on and the cost of silver and gold if you want sterling silver. So, I don't know, just be aware of that if you're trying to get like any parts of your body pierced. Like I said, I really would like to get my ears pierced, but I have I have little baby ears, very baby ears, but I really want to get them pierced and I want to get my nose pierced. I really want a septum too. I want to scare off awful men. But I don't know. Part of me feels like I wouldn't look good in a septum. You know what I mean? I also want to try out fake piercings to just see what I would look like with like a nose piercing and with like an ear piercing or lip piercing. You know, I really like my nose. I like how cute my nose is and I like how little it is. And I also just really like noses in general. The first thing I'll notice about a person is their nose. I like the way noses look. And so, you know, I want to make sure that I don't F up my nose too badly, but it is what it is. I hear you can develop keloids from nose piercings, but I feel like you can develop keloids from anything. So yeah. Okay, so I've been here for 2 hours. I'm going to cut this stream short because I have other things I gotta do tonight. Hopefully YouTube does not flag me for for the Prince Albert. I didn't know what that was. Jesus. I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that. I'm so upset. God, but Yeah, I think I'm done here, guys. I'm done. Oh, last week, exactly 7 days ago, when I had covered the Diddy documentary, I had gotten flagged. I had gotten flagged. So if I were to ever be monetized, I would not be able to um make money off of that stream because I showed Netflix. Like I just showed the Netflix like subscript like advertisement website page where they showed the Diddy documentary, and they basically said, yeah, because you showed this one thing, we can't have you make money off of this. So they copyright striked, or they said that my that stream was not able to be monetized. But personally, I think there were ulterior motives behind that. I do think that Diddy's camp is trying to like squash anything having to talk about Diddy, but everyone's talking about it now. So I don't know. Maybe it was like Netflix trying to be like protect their IPs, or maybe it was Diddy's team trying to protect their IPs. I don't know. But I like I said, I have a visceral hatred for that man. I do. I really don't like that man. And I hope he pays for all of the awful things he's done to people. Like that is just like an awful human being. An awful human being. Worse than any, like, think of like the best villains out there, or like the worst awful villains out there. He trumps them. Like, I just hate him as a person. I think that he does not deserve to have, you know, any of the things that he has obtained. Like the fact that he can't even like make music well, that he has to be the artist in development, the fact that like he copied the I Get Around music video by Tupac and made it like more New York. I hate that man, bro. He has no original bone in his body. He's bought all his success by threatening people, blackmailing people, and you know, the little money that he has been able to make, or the big amount of money he has been able to make. But at the hands of being able to make that money, he hasn't paid anybody their dues. He hasn't paid anybody what they're worth. And I don't know. I just hate that so much. That's so sad. But hey, there's no ethical consumption as a billionaire. Like you can't be an ethical billionaire. There's just no way. Someone's gonna get got as when you're dealing with billionaires, and that's just how it is, unfortunately. So it sucks. And you know what, I'm not surprised in the next 10 years. Don't be surprised if some of y'all faves get clocked for the same shit. Don't be surprised if some of y'all faves get called out. Even some of my faves get called out for not paying people. Don't be surprised. It's gonna be a sad day. That's why I'm very like apathetic about celebrity culture and celebrities. Like I just don't care anymore. Because at the end of the day, they don't live the same life as you. They don't. They live completely different lives, completely different problems, completely different issues. Wealthy AF, and it's like we're over here on the ground floor, barely able to make rent, barely able to make ends meet. I hate it here. I do. So yeah. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And I don't know, I'm getting tired of like when it comes to like hip hop music. So I like listening to hip hop, right? Like I'd say my favorite female rappers currently are Doechii, JT, Rico Nasty, Megan Thee Stallion, and Doja Cat when she raps, you know? But I do get kind of tired of the like, I'm rich, you're broke, get your money up, bitch. It's just like, like it just gets frustrating. It gets to a point where it gets frustrating. Is this Keke Palmer's mouth? I'm looking at nose piercings. I wonder if this is like Keke Palmer's mouth. It looks like Keke Palmer's mouth. But anyway, I get tired of, I do get tired of celebrity culture a lot. Because at the end of the day, we're all struggling and they get to live really nice, comfortable lives. Or perceive themselves as living comfortable lives. And that's not fun. So, yeah. I know that there's probably going to come a point where I am not going to be talking about celebrity culture in the way that I do now. You know, commentaries about talking about trending moments and being able to cover it within a really close time frame. So, of when it happens. So it's important that you like constantly talk about these things. But I don't know. I feel like I'm going to get to the point where I just get tired of talking about celebrities all day and, you know, popular like moments, viral moments on the internet, you know, like how many videos do we need on how overconsumption is affecting us? Like we know overconsumption is bad. So now it's time to stop overconsuming. I guess is where I'm at with it, but I don't know. It is what it is. I'm going to let you guys go today because I got stuff I got to do. And I will see you this week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're going to start playing the Man of Medan series, or that new Telltale series. It's not new, but Man of Medan is a part of a Telltale series that is like, that has like a lot of anthology, like it's all related, and it has a lot of like anthology like based storytelling. And I don't know, I guess the best way to describe it is, I don't know, it feels like you're playing American Horror Story. That's how I'm perceiving it in my head. It's like American Horror Story always has like a new theme for each season. So each game, a part of the Dark Picture series, has like a new theme. So I'm going to start Man of Medan, and it looks like we're going to be in a lake or on a ship. Hopefully it's good. I hear people say it's not that good. They also said the same about The Quarry. So, and this will be like my first like survival horror game. So this should be interesting. So I got Man of Medan, then Little Hope, then House of Ashes, and The Devil in Me, with the next installment, Directive 8020, coming in 2026. Okay, so I got Man of Medan, Little Hope, and I think I got House of Ashes. I don't think I got The Devil in Me. And these are all a part of, oh, it's all made by the same game, Supermassive Game Company. So that should be fun. Okay, cool. I'm excited. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna play that game. Hopefully it doesn't spook me too much. Maybe this will be my introduction into horror games. I don't know. But yeah. We're gonna end things here, guys. Thank you so much for joining my stream. I will see you on Tuesday. Shooting for 4 p.m., but probably gonna be on like the 5 p.m. 5:30 side of things. But looking forward to seeing you guys then. Have a great rest of your weekend. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.